start over here on the left-hand side. Large black and white bird. That is a saddle-billed stork. They do stand about 5 feet tall with wingspans of up to 9 feet, so it's quite the wingspan. This one here is a male. You can tell them apart from the color of their eyes. Males will have a dark brown color eye. Females will have a bright yellow. Over on the right-hand side, there's some greater kudu. They kind of look like deer. They're one of the many species of antelope here on the reserve. Only the male greater kudu are going to have horns, so the few hanging out there are female. Now the forest, though, is pretty densely packed with vegetation. So naturally, most of the animals that do call the forest their home, they're going to be herbivore. It is like an all-you-can-eat buffet out here for them. Got a pretty big herbivore over on the left here. That is a black rhino. Now the black rhino is actually the smaller of the 2 species of rhino found here in Africa. Fully grown adults are weighing about 3,000 pounds. I know 3,000 pounds is considered small out here. Now, relatively speaking, though, the white rhinos, may get to see them later. They're even larger and go up to 5,000 pounds. I mentioned about the animals in the forest being herbivore. That also does mean, unfortunately, that deforestation, that is the biggest threat to them all. So definitely a reminder to recycle those paper products. On our left-hand side here, this is a bongo. Unlike the kudu, both the male and the female bongos, they both are going to have the horns.
Oh yeah, I see them.
I also have the nickname the ghost of the forest because of how silently they can move through it. Those horns are angled backwards, so don't get caught, tangled, or snagged on the brush if they ever want to have to escape from a predator. Heading out of the forest, we are entering the Safi River. The Safi River is home to the more aquatic animals like pink-backed pelicans, hippos, Nile crocodiles. So be on the lookout for those 3 animals down in the river. We'll also be driving right through the center of the river, so if we don't see something at first here on the right, we'll try farther down on the left. It's like hippos and pelicans first here on the right. We'll quickly start with the pelican. So they also have wingspans of around 9 feet. That's about the length of the bench that you're sitting on right now. Actually one of the smallest species of pelican, though. It's like playtime for those 2 Nile hippopotamus there on the right-hand side. You see, very, very quick despite their large size. So they can still run about 20 miles an hour up there on the shore. Well, I went back down in the water, so they can also hold their breath for roughly 8 minutes at a time. They can be down there for a while. We'll see if we'll spot some more. Looks like on the left here, a couple more just hanging out behind the island. So although it does look like hippos are swimming when they move in the water, I promise you, they aren't. They just kind of sink down to the bottom, really just walk along the floor of the river. And a group of hippos, that's called a balloon. Now, if you'd like to see what the hippos look like underwater, definitely check out the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. At some point today, they've got a pretty awesome underwater viewing area. Some more hippos there, as well as some fish. Don't worry about the fish though, hippos are herbivores. Also keep our eyes out for the Nile crocodiles as well in the water. Equally, it's hard to see them when they're submerged. Sometimes they look like logs down under the water. Not quite seeing anyone. Could be missing them, or they could just be submerged to the point where we're not able to see them right now. So we'll keep on moving. Up the hill, we're making our way towards the savannah, specifically the western part of the savannah first. Now the western savannah is home to the more well-known animals like those giraffe, zebra, elephants, just to name a few. Always plenty to see here on the savannah though, so we'll see what we can find today. Now just before we head on in, over here on the right-hand side, this is a baobab tree. The baobab tree also has the nickname the tree of life, or the upside down tree. Should look a little familiar, because on your way over here, you had to have passed by a much, much larger one. The one you saw earlier probably had leaves and some pretty cool animals carved in it. In fact, the massive tree of life at the front of the park, that one's got over 350 animals carved in it. Definitely pass by it a few more times. As we're making our way down the Savannah Overlook here, already spotting a couple of those animals out and about, including wildebeest, sable, antelope, some giraffes out there as well. So we're gonna head on in here, see what we can find close to the truck. We're gonna make one giant circle around though, so if you do spot some animals that are a little far away from us right now, chances are a little bit closer since we do continue around. We're gonna start here, a couple of wildebeest on our right hand side, hanging out back by the trees there. Wildebeest, they can go around 5 days without taking a single sip of water if they had to. That's going to allow them to migrate for hundreds of miles at a time. We're not going to stop for any water breaks, but you, my friend, you're not a wildebeest. Make sure you're taking plenty of water breaks while you're here today. Also on our right here, these are Ancole cattle. Well, they got some pretty large horns. They can get up to 6 to 8 feet long each when fully grown. I might think the horns are super heavy because of how large they can get. They're actually not. They're hollow, with a little bit more of a honeycomb-like structure. Really don't weigh too much at all. They also have the nickname the Watusi cattle, after the Watusi tribe were the first to domesticate them. And yes, they do moo, just like regular gals. Switching over to the left-hand side here, a few African painted dogs. Now, painted dogs, they have the highest hunting success rate of any animal found in Africa. It is about 3 to 4 times that of a lion's at 98%. Now, they do kind of resemble hyenas. They're actually not related at all. And they don't bark like your dogs at home. They like to eat to communicate.
Australia. What are they doing?
Also coming up out here on the left-hand side, a couple of sable antelope with the dark brown fur. That makes the sable antelope so unique. Given any fight or flight situation, they always choose to fight. Those horns are definitely going to help them out. Usually when threatened by a predator, they'll just drop down to their knees, point those horns outwards, fend off the predator. On either side of the truck here, not an animal per se, these big brown things are termite mounds. Now, termite mounds, they do serve a couple of different purposes for lots of different animals. Obviously, termites, they're going to build the mounds up there, their homes. Some of those smaller animals, like meerkats, they'll climb up right on top of them, using them as lookout points to look over their territory. And much larger animals, like giraffes, they'll use the mounds kind of like a back-scratching post, just like you might use the corner of a wall in your house. Now, I also like to visualize all the animals here on the savannah, kind of like they own their own landscaping business. So the smaller animals like the giraffes are in charge of trees. We can see all the trees here pretty much are trimmed to the same exact height. Grazing animals like wildebeest and zebras are like the lawnmowers. They'll spend most of their day just munching on the grass. Now some of those smaller animals like gazelles, warthogs, they'll make sure all of our hedges are trimmed up nice and neat. Now that really does show a balanced ecosystem. Always got to be plenty of food for everyone. Not seeing anyone else over in this area here, so we'll keep on moving and see what we can find up the road. Continuing around here, noticing some fallen down trees around us. Fallen down trees usually a pretty good sign. We should be heading on into elephant country. Trying to keep your eyes peeled for those African elephants. Not an elephant, but on our left here, we're going to spot some mandrills. Mandrills are the largest species of monkey. Fully grown adult males can weigh over 100 pounds. Ones we're spotting here are adult females, a lot smaller. They only weigh between 25 and 30 pounds. Now, just like baboons, they have that bright pink and blue coloring in their face and on their butt. The coloring will get brighter and a lot more prevalent as they do get older. Looks like there's an elephant making his way towards us here on the right-hand side. Slowly but surely. The elephants, they're known for their trunks. These are trunks for a few things, like eating and drinking. Usually they'll eat between 200 and 300 pounds of vegetation each and every day. And this particular elephant right here, he's actually the largest animal out on the reserve, weighing over 13,000 pounds. That is incredibly large, even for a fully grown adult elephant. We're going across the bridge here in a second to the other side of the red clay pits. We'll see if we can spot more elephants up the road as well. Now, something else I just learned about elephants. So just like you and I, they have a dominant side. So yes, they can either be left or right-handed. Now, if you want to tell which side that is on, it's really simple. Look at their tusk. Whichever tusk is shorter or more filed down, that'll be the one found on their dominant side. Now, speaking of tusks, as we head through the clay pits, looks like some elephant tusk marks here in the red clay, so someone may have been digging at it. So I'll keep searching, see if we can spot some more elephants up ahead here. You might be wondering, though, why would there even be tusk marks there in the clay? Now, so elephants are going to use their tusks, they're going to break off chunks of that clay, and they'll eat it, which sounds really gross, but hear me out. The clay contains tons of vitamins, nutrients, minerals, very essential to the elephant's diet. So by breaking off that clay and eating it, it is like they're taking their multivitamin. I'm searching for some more animals here. We're passing a few more baobab trees. Mentioned before, they have the nickname Tree of Life. Well, this isn't for no reason. They can store thousands of gallons of water in those roots, up to 10,000 gallons. Now, if there ever were to be a drought, all the biggest animals we've seen on the savannah, they can puncture those roots and access the water. It really shows the circle of life.
Whoa, we're
coming up in the water here on our left-hand side, these are greater flamingo, which are the largest species of flamingo, but also the least pink. Now, a group of flamingo that is called a flamboyance. Now, they aren't even that pink whenever they hatch. They have more of a grayish-white coloring to them. Now, the pink coloring, though, it does come in over time from the beta-carotene found in the brine shrimp that is largely linked up their diets. Now, with that, we will be heading out of the western savanna into the eastern part of the savanna. The eastern savanna is home to some animals like the white rhino, ostrich, cheetah, lion. So you'll see those animals in the eastern savanna.
You hear that, babe? You gotta see cheetah.
I already spotted some signs of rhino activity up here on our left. This big mud pit in the center. Also gonna be an ostrich up the road.
Look at the car.
Well. Now the rhinos oftentimes do like to roll in that mud, coat themselves from head to toe.
That's the most interesting thing.
On hotter days, that mud is like a sunscreen for them. Also a natural moisturizer for their sensitive skin.
I saw it like an ostrich.
I see any rhinos in this area. We'll keep our eyes out for them as we're calling around. Pulling up ahead here, should get a pretty good look at that ostrich. It'll be on the left-hand side. This will be a female ostrich. You can tell them apart from the color of their feathers. Female ostriches have this kind of light gray color feather. Male ostriches a much darker black color feather. A pretty neat thing ostriches do, they actually roll in the dirt, clean themselves off. It's called a dust bath. That doesn't really make much sense to me, but hey, it works for them. Also got a cheetah up on the hill to the left as well here. Cheetahs are the fastest land animals. They can reach top speeds of over 60 miles an hour in less than 3 seconds. Now to help them out, their claws are non-retractable, meaning they're always out. Those claws help them grip the ground just like cleats on a shoe. Also, a group of cheetah that is called a coalition.
Pace, there's two cheetahs. Yeah.
Now we're also getting ready to pass by a Kopi rock formation up here. Kopi rocks usually serve as lookout points for larger and more predatory animals like the lions that might want to watch over their territory. I'll get pretty lucky here. We're going to spot two of the female lioness climbing up and around the big rock over here. Looks like the male will be at the front, so we'll stop for the females first here. Always a real treat though to even see lions out and about. Oh, she's looking at the rhino here in the back corner. So let's head our way here.
Oh, hello.
Let's see which way he wants to go.
What's he doing?
Oh, good morning, sir. Okay, we'll see him in a moment. Alright, always a real treat though to even see these lions out and about because they're nocturnal. They do spend between 18 and 20 hours of their day either sleeping or resting. Lucky for us, chose to be out here and get an awesome look. Now the male lion up here, don't forget his mane. His mane can weigh about 40 pounds. Does protect the neck area though. I still got some growing to do, only about 3 years old. It's gonna take well over 5 years for the mane to fully come in. And still locked in on that rhino over on the right-hand side again there. Now, white rhino's larger of the two species found in Africa. That was a fully grown adult male that passed us by. He does weigh over 5,000 pounds. Also, I'm sure we all know that a group of lions, that's called a pride. Also coming up on our left here, got some warthogs. I really glad they're up and moving. Warthogs look like fuzzy rocks when they lay down. Now, I know we've all seen Disney's The Lion King. We have a warthog in that movie. His name is Pumbaa. Pumbaa translates to foolish in Swahili. So definitely what I recommend is taking Pumbaa to the warthogs. Now I'm going to look at the rhino on the right here. So this is the one, but a group of rhino that is called a crash. I can crash into things if they aren't careful. That's because they have very poor eyesight. I can only see about 15 to 20 feet in front of them, so you didn't even probably see us till he was running right by. But definitely able to hear us as we're passing by as well. So lucky for us he did not crash into us.
There's another ostrich right here. Yep.
Let's look at another ostrich here on our left-hand side. So largest species of bird don't use the wings for flight like other birds. Wings help them steer when they run between 35 and 40 miles an hour. Also, speaking of 35 to 40 miles an hour, it is also the top speed of the rhinos as well. It's really impressive as they can actually get all 4 feet off of the ground when they're running that fast. So it's almost like a gallop, which that's really cool for an animal that weighs 5,000 pounds. Magadi Glen does feature the Warden's Outpost. We'll see that up here on the left. Actually, the Warden likes to keep some Nigerian dwarf goats here at the outpost. Looks like the gate is open though, so she might be out taking them for their morning walk at the moment. That's alright, I'll keep on moving. As we are going to be passing through the gate up ahead here, it does mean our safari is unfortunately coming to a close. Now, we did get to see some really cool animals out there today. I know everyone always has a favorite out on the Road Reserve. I might be asking yourself, what can I do to help those animals out? My first recommendation is research. If you're taking a break later today at the park, maybe once you get back to your house or hotel room, you can just Google the favorite animal you saw out there. See if there's any conservation efforts being done to help the animal out. And also see if there's anything you can do to help. Second recommendation is to recycle. I know many of us already recycle things like paper, plastic. Some items you can consider to start recycling: old cell phones, tablets, and laptops. In those devices, specifically the battery, there's a mineral called coltan. Now, coltan, that's heavily mined out here in Africa right now. It's also highly reusable. So by recycling those old devices, you can help stop those destructive mining practices. Just before I forget, here, any wilderness explorers on board, right on the Simba one. That's S-I-M-B-A with the lion, number 1. Get your safari badge, top of the hill as you exit. Just look for someone wearing the orange bag. I do believe that is on page 14 of your book. As we're waiting for that final all clear from the Warden up ahead here, let's give me a chance to tell you about some other cool animal encounters you can have here at Animal Kingdom. The first one, I might have mentioned already, but the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. It's also located at the top of the hill once you exit. That's where you can find some animals we don't have on the reserve, like gorillas, naked mole rats, meerkats, a bird aviary, and then a couple more animals that we share on the reserve, like more okapi, the awesome underwater viewing area of some more hippo, and a different species of zebra called the Greves zebra. So we didn't spot any zebras on our tour today. So definitely go check out that trail if you'd like to see some while you're here. But we don't like to say goodbye in Harambe. It is far too sad, far too final. So instead we'll use the Swahili phrase, Kwa Harini, which does mean to go well.